Your Steelers take on the Red Hot Commanders. This game is Pittsburgh's traveling to Washington to play the Commanders. Like we mentioned, Commanders just acquired a brand new corner and Marshawn Lattimore for a third-round pick. Steelers are coming off the bye, so they're feeling nice, rested. They also have a new weapon on the offensive side of the ball in Mike Williams. So Russell Wilson looks like he kind of injected some life into this offense. Not that Justin Fields wasn't doing fine, but there's a bit more of a spark. There's a bit more explosiveness in this offense now that Russell Wilson is at the helm. And then, of course, the Commanders. How can we not talk about this team? You know, one of the most fun stories in the league is Jayden Daniels and the turnaround of this Commanders team. So, lots of excitement here. This game has the chance to be an underrated offensive bout. I would never think I would say that in a game where Arthur Smith's calling the plays for one of the teams, but hey, here we are. You know, is what it is. But BJ, how confident are you in your Steelers to go into a game against the Commanders? How confident are you in the defense to be able to stop Jayden Daniels and the Commanders? Do you have any sort of confidence? Are you feeling good about that, or are you kind of concerned?
I wouldn't say I'm concerned. I think that it's difficult to stop that offense with the horizontal raid and Jayden Daniels being able to use his legs as well. So I wouldn't be concerned. I think the players that the Steelers have on the defensive side are going to be able to match up decently well with the weapons that Jayden Daniels has. I think this kind of comes down to I think both teams are very good. I do think there'll be more points than we expect. I think it comes down to a more veteran team presence, like midway through the season in the Steelers versus a new head coach, a rookie quarterback, a lot of young guys on the Commanders, and just that experience alone, I think will have the Steelers prevail in the end. I know they're a 3-point dog, I think.
2.5 now.
Yeah, I do think that the Commanders offense is nearly close to matchup proof. And it's really fun to watch. And it's in Washington, right?
Yep, it's in Washington.
I do think that with the addition of Lattimore, I don't know how much he's going to play since they just acquired him this week. I don't know if it really holds a lot of substance this week, but without Lattimore, they're definitely susceptible to some big plays happening on the Steelers' offensive side. And I think Russ is going to be able to hit those guys. So I am above 50% confident in the Steelers winning this game, but barely.
Okay. You know, I have a very sharp take, not sharp, but piercing take that I think a lot of people are going to hate on me for here in a minute.
Don't pierce me.
The Commanders' offense, like you said, on paper, matchup proof. I mean, look at all the teams that they've played, and they've dominated. They are first overall in EPA per play in the league. Fifth overall in offensive success rate, fifth overall in passing yards per attempt. They also are running the ball really well, and that's both a compliment to Brian Robinson and Jayden Daniels. Fifth overall in rushing yards per game as well. So, Washington offense, dominant. But, Beach, let's take a look at who they played. Okay? Bear with me.
I'll bear.
First game of the season, they lost to Tampa Bay. Abysmal pass defense for Tampa Bay. Now, it was a little bit better, healthier, less banged up at that time when we started the season. So, we'll give them some credit. New York Giants. They beat the New York Giants week 2. They don't really have a defense to rave about. Cincinnati. We just talked about how bad Cincinnati's defense was, especially in the passing game and the running game. Taking advantage of the bad defense. That's what good offenses do. So, credit to them. Arizona. Now, Arizona grades is a little bit better of a defense than what you would expect. It's middling, but not great. Okay, so they're not a bad defense, but they're not they're not top tier either. So credit to them there. Jonathan Gannon's doing fine. Cleveland defense, not as good as they were last year, but fine. Okay. So kudos to them there for the Commanders. Baltimore's passing defense is awful this year. You can shred them right now. So they lost to Baltimore that week. That was week 6. They lost 30-23. So, hey, Baltimore's a tough team to beat regardless of how bad the defense is or not. Carolina Panthers. historically bad defense. Chicago Bears, good defense. Better than they have been, certainly. And then the Giants again. So, out of all of those games, we're looking at the fact that the best defense they faced were the Chicago Bears. Pretty bad. Or not bad, but pretty tough to kind of discern anything. And while Jayden Daniels is great, absolutely, I think he will undoubtedly be the offensive rookie of the year. And I think that this Washington offense, regardless of who they play, is going to play an elite level. But before we go tooting a bunch of horns, I just want to put it in perspective, the level of defense that these numbers that I'm reading out and the model projections are putting out as well. The model has the Commanders at 2.5, so right around where Vegas has it. I think the Steelers can come in and be the toughest defense that the Commanders have faced until this point and really rattle them, you know?
Yep.
I think that TJ Watt will cause a ruckus. I think the Steelers secondary will make it really tough and you think about who they're working with outside of Terry McLaurin, it's not a whole lot. It's like Noah Brown and Diame, and then Luke McCaffrey. And so it's really hard to rush into the steel curtain as well. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I don't think that the Commanders are frauds by any means, but I think this is the first elite defense that the Commanders have faced until this point, and I think it kind of shocks them a little bit. And so give me the Steelers here to go on the road and beat the Red Hot Commanders right now. I really, really think they can do it. Pittsburgh defense is 4th overall in EPA per play allowed, 11th overall in defensive success rate, which is offensive success rate allowed. They're 4th overall in rushing yards per game allowed. And I just do think that they're going to come off this bye week ready to rock and make a statement to the NFL that they're legit contenders.